they weren't nice. They used to say, you see the chimney? That's where they went, you know. And we couldn't believe it. Of course we didn't believe it then. And then they gave us one to eat, to drink, they gave us a bowl of soup and a small piece of bread. And I had a very, very close relationship with my sister. She was, I looked up to her like she was just very, very special to me. And the same way she was with me. It wasn't even a healthy relationship because we were very close. So when the bread came and we had to cut it, like we got it together, she always tried to give me the bigger piece. And she used to say, you are smaller and you need more. And I used to say, no, I want this piece because you should have the extra bite, because the soup, she couldn't drink the soup. That soup, it had a lot of chemical in it. You know, we should lose our period. Yeah, and you could really taste it. She was gagging on it, but I was very lucky. I learned how to drink without or eat without tasting it. One of the school teachers taught us how to swallow things if we didn't like it, because in that time tomatoes came out that it's very good for you. And like, I didn't like tomatoes. And he used to say, he was an anti-Semite after, but he saved my life, really. I could really say that he saved my life, because he was trying to explain us how good it is. It's vitamin C, and we should eat it. And whoever doesn't like it, and we had plenty tomatoes because we had in the garden fresh tomatoes. And he says, chew it and swallow it. Don't taste it, just swallow it. And that's what exactly I did with the soup. She couldn't do it. She just was gagging on it. So I used to beg her she should take an extra bite of bread because I swallowed the soup. And she was really like the weaker, much weaker, like she collapsed from, I guess, from weakness or whatever, right in the beginning. And me with drinking that soup helped, was a big help. Not too many people could really do it because it wasn't really soup, it was just some dirty water, I mean, actually, like dishwasher water.
Did they give that to you every day? Same?
Yes, yes. Oh, and then we had black coffee. The bread, the soup was black coffee. We had one time the black coffee, one time the soup, and one time the bread. That was our meals for the whole time.
How many times a day?
Once a day.
Once a day.
For each. And then they picked us out and they tattooed us. That was our name. They put a tattoo on us, on our left arm.
What was your number? Do you
no,
know it?
I can't remember. It say something 67, can't remember now, but I have it on my arm. Mm-hmm. I'll show it to you later. Mm-hmm. And they sent us to work, which we were very lucky. I mean, everybody was envying us. We went to work in the Brzezinka in Birkenau. That's close to the crematoriums, gas chambers. All the belonging to the people who went to the crematorium, they brought over there, and we assorted. We sorted the shoes and the clothes, and so we used to find dry bread, jams, and things like that. So that's why they envied us, because we had a little extra food.
You'd find that in people's pockets or something?
Yes, and between the clothes, because you hid things always. So we worked there for a while, but it was a very painful experience there to work, because we saw the people come in lines, go into that buildings, and we knew that they'll never come out from there. And sometimes they didn't have enough gas, and they ran out or something, and you could hear screaming, and we know what it is, so I don't have to tell you what a painful experience that was. To hear them screaming and knowing that that's the end. And then while we were sorting the clothes, we find my mother's dress and the neighbors who wore the clothes when they left to, when we parted and when they went to the gas chamber. And that was another terrible experience to see. We know they went there, but this was so more final that the clothes came from there, and well, the clothes came from the trains too, but this, we knew that she went there, and that's it.
What was your reaction and your sister's?
It was a horrible experience. It shook us up, and there's nothing you could do. You couldn't keep the dress. We couldn't do anything. We had to just throw it in there where the rest of them belonged. And to see all these baby shoes and the baby clothes, and we did everything separately, and then also my brother, the oldest, the second oldest, who was with us, who went with us, he worked right there, and he was a healthy-looking man, a boy. No, not a man, he was still a boy, a healthy-looking, and they picked him to go to work by the crematorium. When the people were finished in the gas chamber, he picked up all these corpses and put them in I guess that's what they were doing, I mean, we assume. And we used to see him sometimes through the wires when we marched from work back and forth. He used to stand there and try to wave to us that he is alive and he's there. And then he sent with somebody a note that he saw one of our aunts and 2 children going in, and he couldn't do nothing about it. She came later on, and he had that experience to see her go in and couldn't do anything. So, but they didn't let them live too long, these people who worked there. They didn't want, they should, if something happened, they should stay alive and tell the stories or whatever. There was some reason why. And they knew after certain weeks, I don't remember exactly how many weeks or whatever they worked there, that they'll kill them too. They'll put them in the gas chamber and they'll kill them, whichever way. So the whole group, some of the group, they got together, and I don't know if they got bombs. They got bombs. If they find it between the bread or between the clothes or someplace, or they made up, I don't know what, because they had all the things came there and people left before they went into the gas chamber. So they decided, this group, that they're going to bomb the electric wires, and they'll try to run away. And maybe somebody will be left alive. And we worked around there.
These were men who were doing it?
The men,
who were planning
only
it?
men, yes. This group was men only. They called it Sonderkommando. That was the German name. And They did it one afternoon. We heard that they bombed the wire, and they run different ways, you know, each one, but they picked them all up and they killed them. I don't think anybody stayed alive.
They bombed the wires to escape out of the camp.
Correct. Yes, yes, yes. And we had to go in the barracks that time. We knew that something happened, and stay in the barracks and not to move out, not to go out. And that's how I knew that he was finished, that I didn't expect him to, you know, to find him home, because...
You thought your brother was part of this?
Yes, definitely. Oh, he was part of it.
How did you know?
Because, I mean, he was part of it.
Could you communicate with him?
No, no, but they all got killed.
Yeah.
I mean, they said they got them together and they killed them. So I knew that he was gone, and then I knew that the two youngest one was gone. So still my sister and me was alive. And after a while, when the crematoriums already ended, when the people didn't come anymore, they closed up that. And one time after that, we had selections always. Every 4 weeks they select. Dr. Mengele came, and he saw skinny people or something. He took them to the separate, you know, to go to, they couldn't already work enough. So one time they picked me, end of that time, while I was working there, we had a selection, and they picked me, they separated me from my sister. I was so happy. All right, I knew that I'm going in the end, that they left us between the dirty clothes, and the others they took, and they had the showers, and me and the whole group, they left us between the dirty clothes, and we were waiting. They should pick us up in the truck and take us to the gas chamber. And in one way, I was very happy that that's going to be the end. But then it hit me that my sister is there. How is she going to live without me? That's how close we were. So I was really a young kid, and there was other people who I knew, some friends and cousins. And we got together, and an assessment with a dog stayed between the people who were showered and us, where we were still between the dirty clothes. And we talked it together, and I was like the leader. I mean, I can't believe it even now, because I'm not the leader type. And I said, how about we'll try to escape, try to run, between all of us in the same, around the same time, between that door where the SS man stands with the dog. And sure enough, we did that. And we went through somehow. We attacked him, and we went to the other room where the people were showered. And they already, their hair grew back a little bit, and their all was wet. So we were there, and then Mengele came back, and all the other assessment. We have to go back. Whoever came from the other side, we have to go back.
And you say you attacked the man at the door. Did you actually attack him?
We didn't, we went through between his legs. Whichever way we could.
You just got around him.
Yeah, yeah. It's unbelievable. It was like a white door, and we knew that the others are there, and somehow it's like a miracle, okay? And when we got there, they kept on saying we have to go back. Here, my hair was dry, and theirs were wet. There's no water. And you can imagine what my sister did. Try to save. She worried and made my hair wet, that I should look like the others. And they said that it's going to be another selection. we don't go back. Whoever came from there, it's going to be another selection.
She got water from her body?
From her body, correct. And because there was no other way. And she wanted I should look like them. So I went through the second selection, I went through with them, with my sister, and I went through. Okay, I was with them. The other people, thank God, they're alive. They didn't take them. They took them to the gas chamber. Something, I don't know what happened because I know who came back, my best friend and a cousin who was there. And they didn't kill them. Something, I don't know if they didn't have gas or something very miracle happened. They were there and they took him back to another camp, to another part of the camp, to a different section. But I didn't know that time. So right there and then I started to feel guilty that somebody else, because when instead me to the crematorium. But after the war, and before even it was over, I met somebody and they said they weren't killed. So luckily for me, they stayed alive. And I was together with my sister. And then we worked in the Weberei after that place. And after, when it was very, very cold, we were in the Außenkommando. We walked a long distance to outside of the camp in the coldest weather, and we were digging bunkers. Just digging and digging and digging holes. You know, I don't know if they were keeping us just busy to do these things. It was very, very freezing. Over
you
there.
You said earlier something. You said when the people stopped coming about the crematorium.
Yes, and 1944, I think like around October, end of October, there wasn't too many transports coming to be killed. They started to close up the crematoriums. I guess everybody from whoever.
That part of Europe.
Yeah, they got everybody, because the Russians were coming close by. Then, so I worked there, and it was very, very bitter cold. One time, one of the girls ran away. She decided she had it, and she was going to run away from our group. She ran away, but of course, the German dogs, they were so smart, they find her in the woods, and they brought her back. And this is another experience I'll never forget. We the whole camp in that section, in that particular camp, we all had to stay say lapel, that means, you know, in line there, quiet, and they put this girl in the middle of, we were, you know, making like a circle around people standing in the line, 5 in one line. And they took this girl in the middle, and they took two dogs, and they tear her apart in front of us.
Alive?
Alive. And I still could see it, the blood and everything, and we had to watch. They were going back and forth, make sure that we watch, because this is what's going to happen. If you will try to do that, this is what's going to happen to you. So it wasn't humanly, it was just unbelievable. If somebody would tell me, it's hard to believe that they could do, one human being could do with that, with another.
Did she die quickly?
I don't remember. I only remember the blood and the skin and the dogs. I mean, that happened more hanging. We watched hanging, but this was worse. This was hanging. Is easy comparing this. This was a horrible. But they made sure that this is what's going to happen to you if you try to. So nobody really ran away. I mean, you know, because lots of time people used to say, how could you be like, you know, why didn't you do something? You couldn't do, because this is what, see, I mean, this is what they would do with you. It's worse. So we were just doing whatever they...
And I'm sure you had no energy to do it.
No, didn't have energy. But still, you see, she got energy, this particular girl, and she tried to, she just figured that's it, you know. So experience is like that. And that's how we stayed there until end of December. I think it was 1st of January, end of December, because I remember all these beautiful lights. Christmas times, they decorated. The Germans decorated the place, and it was music. Every time we walked in and out from the camp to go to that Außenkommando, there was a band in front of the gates, and they were playing music, and we were marching on that. And so then ended December, the Russians were coming close. They put us again in trains, and cattle trains, and they took us to Bergen-Belsen. And Bergen-Belsen was a very, very slow, torturing camp. A slow death. We didn't have no food. We didn't work there. I mean, us. We didn't work there. We were just sitting there, and we had a lot of lice and cold and no food. Once a day, little coffee or a little dirty water, I called it. And of the British was around there. The last 2 weeks, we didn't have no food at all. I mean, really no food. We went out whenever we could go out, because you couldn't go out. The last 2 weeks were, the bombs were going back and forth. Once in a while, if they let us out, we took a spoon and we tried to scrape some snow, whatever it's left in us, to, that was our food. So we were very, very sick, and the liberation.
Did you see people dying?
Dying left and right. My sister was quite sick with high fever, and she couldn't even move. Then when we got liberated, we couldn't walk. We were just crawling around. And they had a medical station set up, the British people, when we got liberated. And we crawled, both of us, over to that medical center.
Tell us about the liberation. I mean,
the liberation.
One day, I imagine there were Germans there, and
there was Germans.
And then what happened?
And we heard all the bombing and the rumors that they are closed there, and we were happy in one way, but we were too weak to be able to be happy. And the British soldiers came in the tanks, and they were, you know, wonderful. They tried to help, but it was a disaster. They couldn't. It was just, you couldn't explain it, how terrible, how dead people were all over, in the barracks, outside, inside, wherever you went, it was dead people. So after we crawled over there, they gave me some injection, I don't know what. And they did something with my sister too. For me, it helped. I started to get better, but she was getting worse. And a week after the liberation, she died in my laps.
August 3rd, 1995, interviewing survivor of the Shoah, Barbra Frohlinger, tape number 3. Mrs. Frohlinger, your sister has just died after the long...
Yes, she had high fever, and when she had high fever, she didn't know. When she went down, she knew that she's dying. And that night, all night, she kept on saying, why do I have to die? I am free. We got liberated, and I want to go home. And like we were like 4 girls together, and she says, we are like sisters, and why do I have to die? She kept on saying, and she kept on saying, Gills, please help me, help me, help me. And I was holding her head in my laps and tried to soothe her, and a whole night, and she kept on and off, dozing off, and then finally I dozed off, and in the morning already around 6 o'clock, and when I opened my eyes, she was gone. She, like she was waiting. When I'll close my eye, you know, when I'll doze off, and that was the end with her. But she had a feeling that she knew that she is dying. And that was, when she died, part of me was gone. I never was the same, and I didn't want to live. I was very, very depressed. They took me after a couple days or a couple weeks, I don't remember. They took me away to next to Bergen-Belsen was barracks where the soldiers were, and they made a hospital from it. And they took me there. They took everybody, matter of fact, I think, there. And whoever was sick, of course. And I stayed there for a while. I don't know how long, but I really didn't care. I know some of the girls never left me alone. Like, I must to be really very, very depressed, very bad. And then they put us on trains, and we started to go towards home with these 2 girls with me.
How long were you in the hospital?
I don't know. No.
Probably weeks, months?
Weeks, probably, weeks. So we were going slowly because there was the transportation was very, very bad. In cattle trains, even then. After the liberation, there was no other way to transport so many people.
Did they leave the doors open, or they were closed up?
No, you know what? I don't even remember how it was. I think it was open more, if I remember. And we stopped on one side, and there was somebody, a landsman, related a little bit to us. Went through, and I heard him calling out, anybody from Benedictine, you know, from where I come, or anybody from the next town, and of course I right away said, I'm here, and he says, he was home already, and he says, nobody came home from your town, but a cousin came. He made a mistake. my brother was home, and this cousin who was with me in the same train, her brother wasn't home. And he said, her brother is home. So when I heard my brother isn't home, because that's the only one I was hoping that I'll find him home, because he's the one who went to forced labor camps. The others I knew are all dead. When I hear that he's not home either, that I'm going to nobody, where am I going? I must to get even worse, depressed, because they really never left me alone, and they tried to cater, because I was one of the youngest. There was nobody younger. Very few of us who was left alone. So, but when I got home, not home, first we went to Bratislava, that's deep Czechoslovakia. Then from there, we stayed there for a while. We had the soup kitchens, all these, like DP camps or whatever they had fixed up, the American. And then I went from there, that's how slowly we had to go. We went to Hungary, Budapest. And my sister had like a boyfriend. She was a little older, a friend. It was actually my brother's friend, and he used to come always to the house, and I never knew that how much he cared for her, Every time a train came, he went in Budapest to wait, I guess, for my sister, because they also, my brother and him, heard one of the Kleingills is alive. And who did you expect to come home? The older one. So you see, this is how I started to get guilty feelings that why I'm alive. And besides that, I'm going to jump back, but I forgot something, how